welcome to another podcast on Touchscreen. And if you have heard Southern Conference tips, well, guess what? Northern Conference is upon us this week, and once again joined by Mitch. How are you, Mitch?
Hello, Tom. I'm going great, mate.
Yeah, good to be back. And did you get a chance to watch any of the Southern Conference? I know you put up a video of it. You put up a video of our tips, and we got some right. I think
you were great. You got 40% is sort of what we tipped 40%, and you went with that. I could only manage 30. I could only manage 3 out of the 10 winners. So, teams shouldn't be too worried if we don't tip them. It's probably a good thing.
So something that was a surprise when you actually said that you thought the Sharks would win by quite a substantial amount, the overall club champions, and Wagga got that.
Yeah,
how
they
good?
Did.
Yeah,
it's great.
And it was good. There was a lot of variety on who our winners were, because I don't think Wagga got more than, I think they only got 2 grand final wins, and so did Sharks as well. So, and I think we saw Griffith got one as well. I think they got a 12s grand final win. So
the people from Lower Blue Mountains must be stoked. They made 3 grand finals and won one.
Yeah. Yep.
Canterbury came 3rd in club championships, which is a great result. So, really, really good.
Yeah, lots of excitement in the Southern Conference, but we are talking about Northern Conference today. And look, this might go for a little bit longer because we're involved with the Northern Conference, where our where our clubs are located. We just happen to be in northern part of New South Wales. So, kicking off, we're going to go once again with the 10 boys. We'll do, you go first with the boys this time. I'll go first with the girls.
No problems, mate. Like we did with the I can't even talk, Southern Conference, I want to sort of give a bit of a shout out to some of the smaller clubs. So in the 10 boys, we've got Ballina, 9-hour drive, massive props for that. We've got the Scone. Are they the Breakers or the
Breakers? Yep.
Yeah. We've got the Tamworth Titans. You got Port Makos. So you got Taree. You got Gunnedah, and they fill teams in nearly every division, which is fantastic. But Tom, the one that I'm really happy to see, and I know New South Wales Touch have recently onboarded them, is the Barraba Bulls.
Yep.
And they're sending 4 teams.
I actually follow them. I follow them on social media with my personal page and the Touchscreen page. I've been following them since they first started recently.
I believe this will be their first time going to State Cup. So I want to say a big shout out and welcome to the crew from Barraba. Well done.
Absolutely. And I think they're up quite north as well. So it's a big drive for them, because you talk about Ballina, Ballina 9-hour drive. I see Ballina as quite a big club, but still a very long drive. And they're entering in the 18 boys too, which is awesome.
Yeah, it's unreal. So what we're doing is we're tipping the winner, who we think will make the grand final, and our Smoky selections were horrendous. So I'm going to treat the
Smokies like who I think is going to be 3rd, or who's going to perform a lot better than you might expect. I'm not going to just throw anyone out.
Yeah, sure, no problems. I have the Renegades winning the 10 boys. I have them beating the Wallsend Wolves. And my Smoky is going to be Ballina.
Ooh. Okay. Right. Close. I'm close. I've actually got 2 out of 3 are your picks, just in a different order. I've got the host, Dubbo, beating Northern Beaches in the grand final of the under-10s, with a massive crowd right in the centre of the under-10s area. Huge crowd. It's going to be a big event. Whatever grand final on the stadium is going to have no one watching them at the same time. And the Smoky, though, I will say that Wallsend are the Smoky in my eyes. They will be very good. I know when they played Dubbo, I think Dubbo beat them because they scored first in that 3-2 point scoring in our regional champs. I haven't seen much of Wallsend, but I do know Dubbo are really good in the 10s, boys and girls.
Okay.
They run subsets, they run latch, their passing and catching and is just amazing. And I think it's because they put so much emphasis on development teams and under eights, and these guys have been playing probably for 4 years now, and they're still tens. But I'm going to go Dubbo for the under 10 boys.
Okay. What about the 10 girls, Tom? How do you see that?
10 girls is a tough one. In the past, Northern Beaches have been very dominant, and I think that they will be again. Can't see. I think Northern Beaches are going to win this by a fair bit, and I do think it's going to be Manly that they will be beating. So I know it's a cliche pick. Beaches and Manly are two sort of juggernauts in the northern region. But my smoky, that's going to be Central Coast. Central Coast 10 girls.
Okay. Barraba have a team here. The Tamworth Titans have a team. Wellington have a team in the 10 girls. And I'm not sure what they're known as. So if you know who Alice there or anyone from Wellington Touch, let us know what they're known as.
It's a funny story about Wellington is they were originally part of the Southern Conference when it was in Port Macquarie. The line split between Dubbo and Wellington, so Dubbo went up, Wellington went down. And the first year that they moved Northern Conference to Dubbo, they still had Wellington as a Southern Conference team.
Right.
So it was just around the corner was the Northern Conference, but I think for 1 year they still had to go to Wagga, and then common sense prevailed and they moved them.
Yeah, okay. For the 10 girls, I have Doyleson winning. I have them beating the Northern Beaches. And I don't have a smoky, honestly, because most of my smokies didn't win a game. So I'd really not. Apologies to Ballina in the 10 boys. But I'm going to politely pass on the smoky for the 10 girls, if that's okay.
Okay. That's okay. That is okay. Not a problem at all. We don't want to be sort of jinxing anyone. So 12 boys are up.
Not.
12 boys are up next. A lot of 12 boys teams.
Yeah,
I think there's one pool of 6 in the rest. Is that 20 teams in no. 27 teams.
Yeah, there's round of 16. So
round of 16.
Again, some of the smaller teams, and plus the teams from the Northern Eagles, which it is a decent travel. We've got Taree, Wellington, Maxville, Ballina, Scone, Gunnedah, the Parks, Pumas, Barraba, Port Macquarie, Tamworth Titans. In the 12 boys,
I would like to see the mascots or the animal or whatever it is to represent on the list for all of them for juniors. I think that should be a thing. So like Beresfield should have Bandits, Tamworth should have Titans. Wellington, we would know what they are if they had that. Maxville Falcons. Don't know what Gunnedah are, actually. It's a good one.
The Goannas. They're the Goannas.
Okay, gotcha. All right, fire away.
In the 12 boys, I have Peninsula winning.
Ooh.
And I have them beating the Northern Beaches.
Okay. Do you have a smoky, or are you zipping it for the young ones?
I just don't know enough, and I don't want to jinx. As I said, I'm not going to jinx anyone here, Tom. So
fair enough.
Who do you have winning the 12 boys, mate?
The 12 boys, I have Northern Beaches winning. I have them beating Nelson Bay. And Smoky, right behind that, is Peninsula. But I think nipping at the heels of that grand final could be a mix between Peninsula, Maitland, Doyleson, Manly, and do Ballina have a team? They do have a team. I'm going to say that they would be pretty strong as well. All those young kids that look like they belong surfing at the beach. They all look like those blonde surfer kids from Balmain who got the zinc on. But yes, that's my grand final pick, and I reckon there's those handful of clubs that will be. Some of them are going to be very unlucky to be out in the quarters.
Yep. Yep.
12 girls.
12 girls.
I'm going to go, and it goes back to what we were saying about constantly picking the Sharks in the Southern Conference. I am going to pick Manly,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm going to have them beating Wallsend with my Smoky being Dubbo.
Okay.
So Dubbo won our regionals. They beat Wallsend 2-1. Now, girls, it's funny with the 10s and the 12 girls, when it comes to crunch games and it's two close teams, it's normally very low scoring.
Yep.
So whether or not at this grand final that we previously watched Dubbo beat Wallsend, a try might have been a lucky try. It might have been someone fell over. Could have been anything. Yep. But I think on this day, I think Wallsend are going to get through, and Dubbo will probably end up playing Manly in a semi or something like that.
Interesting you say that.
Mm-hmm.
Because I have Dubbo winning, and I have them beating Manly.
So pretty much
12 girls.
Pretty much. And you could then say your Smoky is Wallsend.
Yeah, look.
And then we've got the same three.
Potentially. You know, lots of teams in the both 12 boys and girls, you know, they're going to be expected to play 5 or 6 pool games, round of 16, quarter-final, semi-final, potentially final. So there's a lot of touch for the kids to play there.
Well, if you look if you look at Pool C, these girls have got to play 7 round games and then potentially 4 rounds of finals. So that's 11 games.
That's a big effort.
That is
under 12 girls.
Under 12 girls, and it's probably going to be 30 plus degrees.
Yeah, it will be. Yeah.
But luckily, the young under 12s just don't seem to feel the heat like us.
Oh, no, they love it. Absolutely. They love it.
And Dubbo have the sprinklers set up, and they're always running through the sprinklers.
Yeah.
Yeah, they'll be running around between. They won't be doing recovery. They'll be out playing soccer and frisbee and stuff like that between the games.
Yeah.
All right, 14 boys. We're starting to get a bit of maturity now, sort of a high school age.
And Tom, I checked, Barraba to Dubbo is 4-hour drive. So 14 boys, we've got Barraba, we've got Gunnedah, we've got Parks, we've got Tamworth, Scone, Ballina, Taree, Port Macquarie. And Tom, we welcome the Armidale Bushrangers.
The Armidale Bushrangers.
To see them.
I wonder if they're still in there. Yeah, I've versed Armidale years ago when it was at Port Macquarie.
Yeah. So fantastic to see them there. I know that in this age group, I have the Northern Beaches winning. I have them beating Manly. And then the other team that'll be very, very close is Wallsend. And those 3 teams have duked it out. They duke it out at junior regionals, NYC. There isn't a lot between the 3 teams. But I give the edge to the Northern Beaches over Manly. Heathy Cooper, Willie Bishop, Dill Thompson coaching Wallsend. So 3 names that everyone knows in the touch circles. So I see those 3 teams as the team to beat, and that's how I line it up.
Yep. No, I'm going to agree with exactly that. I think that's. But what I'm going to do is, if that's your top 3 teams, the 4th team rounding out the other semi-final will be Newcastle.
Okay.
Yep. I reckon I watched Newcastle play against Wallsend. Ended up at about 7-5 at our Nelson Bay comp. But it was a brilliant game. And it wasn't like the Wallsend were playing bad. They were playing very good. But I thought Newcastle were a lot better than I expected, considering they're predominantly a bottom-age team.
Yep.
All right. The girls.
14 girls. What have you got?
Yeah. See, this is where we start to try not to pick Manly because Manly have been so dominant in the girls for the last 15 years. Look, I kind of have to pick Manly. If we're being realistic on who we genuinely think is going to win, I'm going to pick Manly. And I'll probably have them beating Northern Beaches, but I'm going to give you, because they're cliche picks, I'll give you two Smokies. We'll go Nelson Bay.
Mm-hmm.
And we will also go with Doyleson.
Okay.
Doyleson have, I know that 2 years ago, their 12 girls were very good, and they have kept majority of those players, and they started Vorden last year. They had a youth league girls team in Vorden Cup with that sort of group. So, yes, that would be my top four. So you got the big guns, Manly and Beaches, and I'll go Nelson Bay, Doyleson on top of that.
Yep, no problems. Coach Shane Spindler will be very happy to hear that. The Doylo girls coach. 14 girls, against some of the smaller clubs, Taree, Ballina, Scone, Gunnedah. We welcome Maxville, which is great. Tamworth Parks, Port Macquarie. Tom, I have Nelson Bay winning, and I have them beating Dubbo.
Interesting.
And I will put them. I will put Doylo as the. I think they'll lose a semi-final, so I'll put them as third.
And it's I think this is going to be Dubbo's best year as far as how they go, and as far as club champions go. I think Dubbo are going to finish this year very proud of themselves.
Yep.
All right, 16 boys. Now, I think if you look at all the divisions, I think this is the biggest jump, 14s to 16s.
It is.
Jump in quality.
Without a doubt.
What do you got? This is a tough one.
Look, this is really hard. A couple of the smaller clubs that are appearing in the 16 boys. The Bushrangers make an appearance. Taree come across. Maxville, Gunnedah. And we welcome the Muswellbrook Mambas, I think they're known as.
Yep.
So great to see them in play. 2 years ago, Manly and Maitland played 14 boys in the grand final. Maitland have some kids playing in the Knights program, and they play at Lismore on Saturday. So sayonara to three of their best players.
And unfortunately, the Knights made a statement that they must travel back to Newcastle on the team bus after their game. That is a must. They can't just go straight from Lismore to Dubbo to play touch.
Yep.
If they want to do that, they have to come back to Newcastle and then travel through the night.
No, not happening. So, before I saw that, I thought they were a good chance. I have to put a line through them. I have Manly winning the 16 boys, and I have them beating the Central Coast.
Okay. Are you willing to give a smoky?
Well, I'll say that Maitland will get beaten in the semi-finals. They've still got a good team, but as I said, they've lost three of their better players. They've had to bring in other players. And come Sunday, when the chips are in the middle of the table, so to speak, that's when you'll notice their better players missing.
Yeah.
So I think that they'll be beaten semi-finalists. How do you see it, mate?
I've got Wall's End winning against Central Coast.
Right.
And my top four are all Hornets teams. Dubbo and Maitland rounding up the top four.
Yeah, okay.
I know. So you look at Manly, their 16s from last year are old. They're 18s now. So they're kind of at a new team, and like Maitland, they're missing players, but the bulk of those players that still remain they were a heavy bottom age team last year. So they're still a very top age heavy in the 16 boys, but with a stronger team, they had two draws with Wall's End, beating them in a drop off in a semi final. Wall's End, Wallsend have done really well with this group, because you look a couple of years ago, they weren't really competing, and now it's not like they've brought in any players. They're playing very good touch.
Mm-hmm.
Dubbo, Dorso and Harry West are coaching out there, and they've worked with this group for a few years now. I think this is going to be a very Hornets, and I'm happy to say it, it's going to be a very Hornets-dominated division. I think Beaches and Manly will be out in the quarters.
Okay.
And if you're offended by that, I don't care. You can come see me Sunday afternoon if I'm wrong and tell me all about it.
Absolutely. Get stuck into him. So you've got absolutely no idea, Taylor.
That's
You've got no idea.
Yep. More than happy for
that.
that.
What's next, mate? Next
16,
division?
16 girls.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Ooh. This is a tough one. So Mudgee will be strong. Newcastle will be strong. Manly will be strong. But then you look at someone like Norths. They had a Women's Open Premier League team. How young may they have been? I guess we'll see if they've got an 18 girls, but I know we look at your Central Coast Women's Open, very young. Northern Suburbs first year in Women's Open, they could have had a couple of really young girls. Who knows? So it might be a case of their women's program just starting to sort of punch through the Opens division. But I'm going to go Beaches winning. And I'm going to have them beating Newcastle. I'm going to have Beaches beating Newcastle. And my Smoky, I'll give him a Smoky. Smoky's going to be Coast, Central Coast.
Okay.
I think I think they've got a couple of league girls as well. Depending on whether they're able, I'm not actually sure if they're able to play or not. If they are, I'd probably interchange them with Newcastle. But if they're not able to play, I think we'll just leave them as the Smoky, and they can just go out and impress me.
Okay. It hurts. I think the Central Coast will get beaten in the grand final by the Northern Beaches. I think the Northern Beaches is a very, very good team, and they'll be very hard to beat.
Yeah, you're right. They will be very hard. Do you have a Smoky?
No, I don't.
No Smokies.
It's just too hard to then line up.
You've got a bit of scar tissue remaining from the Southern Conference.
Right. No, I do.
2 to go now, so 18 boys. And I'm really stoked that we've got 2 pools in the 18 boys. We don't have to play a million games.
Well, Tom, I'm quarters. Going to... It's very interesting you say that. So the last 2 years I've been involved in the 18 boys, and the last 2 years, 2 years ago, Tyler and Tomoko, their parents, they went out to play on the Friday. They flew them home for football. And then they came back out and played Sunday. With having 2 pools, we go straight quarterfinals on Sunday morning. The terms and conditions say you need to play a pool game.
Just one.
So just one. But they don't start till 12 o'clock on Friday, 12:30 on Friday. And there's a number of boys who play in rugby league teams. Last year, there was boys 2 years ago, there was boys from Coast and Newey who came out on Friday, played some games, drove home. Same again last year. One of the boys from the Beaches did it last year. So I'm really interested to see what happens, and if guys think that they can just turn up, get an exemption, and start playing quarterfinals on Sunday morning.
And I hope that's not the case, because otherwise, what's the point of putting the rule in there?
It better not be. If the last 2 years, if kids and parents can make the effort to juggle both sports, pay, there is a rule in place. It's unfortunate there's no pool game on Sunday morning like there has been the last 2 years, but you can't come out and just start playing quarterfinals.
That's
So
right.
I'm going to have the binoculars out on Friday. Call me a Karen or call me a whatever you call those, boomer or.
To me,
Anywho.
look, to me, that is no different to a referee going out there and refereeing to the rule book. Like a terms and condition entry is just as important as a rule book that a referee goes off. We don't go angry at referees because they went and enforced a rule that I didn't like that rule.
Mm.
That's just what you got to put up with when you enter in a tournament. You got to put up with the
Yeah.
rules.
You
But
do.
yes, it is an interesting one. And the football, like the rugby league sides, just named. This is recorded on Tuesday. They just named all their teams.
They have.
It's and like
Everyone
it's
knows who. Everyone knows who the footy players are who play touch, right? So,
yeah.
you look at the team like Maitland 16 boys. They've lost 3 of their better players. There are rules in place. So I'm going to be watching. 18 boys. I think Maitland and Manly will play in the grand final. I have Maitland winning. And I have the Renegades and Newcastle losing semi-finals.
That'd be nice. That'd be really nice. Thank you very much for not naming Maitland as a Smoky.
That means they wouldn't win a game. So
right.
going on my past tipping. No, I think that they're going to be very hard to beat.
And
It'll
I
be a
look
very
at this.
challenging division. To be honest, the competition, if I can say, Tom, the competition starts on Sunday, right? Because everyone's going to line up. I could almost tell you, I think Newcastle will play the Coast in the quarterfinals. I think Wallsend will play Northern Beaches in the quarterfinals. And you win 3 games on Sunday and you'll be Northern Conference winner.
Yeah, and this is one thing I've always pushed with our club. If we've got players available that can play the whole tournament, regardless of whether that rule's in place about you must play one round a game, I'd rather take the people that are available over a footy player that can just rock up and play a semi and a grand final.
Mm-hmm.
Because they'll be a good touch player forever, really. If they're that good that we're going to let them just play one day, they're going to be good to our club. So when they stop playing footy, they're going to still be a good touch player and they can come back. But it gives you a really good opportunity to get these guys better. So we're going to bloke on his first ever rep tournament. Well, we played in the regionals ones, but his first ever New South Wales rep tournament. He's coming in. He's doing a really good job. We've got one young fellow who originally missed out on the 16s, and he's come up. And he's playing 18s. So yeah, I think we're in a good spot that we have 14 every game all 3 days.
Yeah.
As far as
I think you'll find. Sorry, Tom. I think you'd find if you went through the other 18 boys teams, there's a lot of guys or boys that are new to reps because you do lose players. I think if you did go through the teams, you will find that there are some players who've never played before in the under 18s boys and girls.
I don't know how to judge this. I'm going to let's pretend the Maitland Redbacks don't exist.
Okay, I know it's hard because you're the coach, right?
I'm going to go Manly winning against the other team, against Newcastle. Okay. Manly, I do know Manly. Yeah, outside of my own team, I would say Manly have the strongest team on paper. Like that is a very strong team.
It is.
And that's been a team that have played together, that I've coached against Craig's team since under 12s. We had teams in under 10s. We just never played each other in under 10s. The draws just didn't align. But every year since then, in the rain, in the mud, we've always came up against each other. And I think 3 times in a row, it's been a draw. I think the last time we came up against each other, it was a 4-4 draw. So that'll be if that is the grand final, that will be a very, very exciting grand final.
Yep, it will be.
And I'd just be happy to be there. I'd just be honestly making a grand final would just be awesome.
Silver sucks, Tom. You want gold, bro.
I know, but like if it's silver on your first grand final, I'm okay. I'm okay with it. We'll just work our way with gold. Gold would be awesome. Gold, I couldn't tell you how good that would be. That would be the well, yeah, I couldn't tell you how it is because I never won a junior state cup. I won the plate division in under 12s. How about that?
No good. 18 girls, Tom.
Last
We're boring.
one.
We're boring our listeners.
Oh, yes. If there's anyone wanting to know about the 18 girls, well, sorry about the delay. This is another tough one because, like, now the girls are impacted by rugby league as well.
Yeah, they are.
It's hard to go past Manly and Nelson Bay here, but look, I'm going to say it's Manly Nelson Bay grand final. I think that was the same as last year. Look, Nelson Bay has still got Ali Mitchell playing.
Yep.
So I think just that alone just gives them a boost. So hopefully she can stay healthy the whole weekend. I'm picking Maitland to be a smoky though. That is they are running really well, and that was Nelson Bay won the Peter Wilson grand final comfortably, but the semi against Maitland was a drop off.
Okay.
Yeah, so I've got Manly beating the Bay with Maitland as my smoky.
Okay. I've got the Northern Beaches Renegades winning the 18 girls. I've got them beating Nelson Bay, and I have the Coast and Manly as the losing semi-finalists in the 18 girls.
Yeah, Coast would be the fourth team that would be out in the semis, or the other team that would be out in the semis for me as well. I think they were unlucky. I think there'd be probably a few of those Coast girls that would be disappointed after Peter Wilson because, like, I think I don't know whether they were expected to do well. I just thought that the team they had, that they would go better than what they did. So normally something like that, bit of motivation. I imagine the next few training sessions would have been pretty focused. And sometimes that's just what you need.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But we've got it. And just to finish off, who would be your overall club champions?
So I think the Renegades are going to go back to back, but I think Dubbo can potentially finish second. And I think that they're going to have a very good weekend.
Yeah,
I think so good to see.
I think Dubbo will be definitely outside of Sydney, the number one as far as those points go. They're going to be look in a couple of years. It's just going to be Dubbo are the team to beat, and I liken Dubbo now to what Orange were in that sort of
probably you're right.
Between 2017 to only maybe 1 or 2 years ago, where it was like Orange was a really tough team across the board.
They still
have some teams out there that really do some damage, but like looking at the COVID period in that sort of few years, they were just every age was just dominating, and I see a lot of that in Dubbo right now.
I agree, mate.
But that is our predictions on Northern Conference. So I'm going to get this out. If you're watching this, it's Wednesday, or it's after Wednesday because you could be watching it whenever, but it's coming out because I was going to put it out on Thursday, but I don't think people get phone reception on the way to Dubbo. So can't exactly watch it when you're driving in the middle of nowhere. So we'll put it out a day early. But thanks again, Mitch. I heard you're doing some commentary again on the weekend.
I might pop out in the commentary. Yes, mate. Yeah, excellent. Can't wait to get out there. Everyone drive safely.
Yeah, commentate 12 o'clock on Friday, Maitland 18 boys versus Central Coast.
Bang, let's go.
Yeah, do that, 12 o'clock midday. That'll be a fun one to call. Yep. Righto, guys.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Thanks for watching, and we will see you next time on the podcast. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.